Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday night, November 20, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at what the US National Hurricane Center is showing on their 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that we have a code orange right there in the open waters of the northern Atlantic that has a 50% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. We can see that it is currently located to the east-southeast of Bermuda and is expected to move towards the southeast, quite a weird direction, then make it to the east, then turn to the north, hopefully missing the Azores Island. We can also see that area that the US National Hurricane Center has highlighted in the South Central Caribbean Sea for possible tropical cyclone development within the next 7 days as well as the next 2 days, with both a 10% chance. According to the Hurricane Center, disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the Central Caribbean Sea are associated with a small low pressure area. Although the thunderstorm activity has recently decreased over the southwestern portion of the low, nearby dry air is forecast to prevent much additional development of the system as it begins to drift slowly westward over the next couple of days. So yes, it's going to be drifting westward, and there has been some convection increasing across the system as we could see today, but majority of that has died down by the time the sun set. But look at what is happening at this hour. We're starting to see some more thunderstorms fire up to the north of Colombia. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what this system looks like in the morning. We know we're having D-Max tonight, so these systems have a knock of, developing themselves during the nighttime hours. Hopefully we don't wake up tomorrow and see a code orange or a code red or a tropical depression or anything like that. Right now, it's an area of low pressure and it has a lot of warm water to work with. We'll be talking more about that warm water later on. Let us focus our attention on what the Euro and the GFS models are showing in terms of the direction of the system. We can see the Euro model taking it to the west or towards the west-southwest, possibly making it into sections of Nicaragua by about 4 days time. The GFS showing something similar with more of a west-southwest jog, maybe even making it to the Nicaragua-Costa Rica border. However, as it relates to the intensity forecast, we can see that both the Euro, majority of these models are showing that this system should remain below tropical storm status. We can see tropical storm status represented by the green, and majority of them are taking it into maybe tropical depression status or remaining as it is currently at whatever state, to a low pressure area. And if we take a look at the Euro model as relates to the system is located right here, and we're just going to be going out to the next couple of days. So we can see that by 18 p.m. Wednesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Wednesday, the system should be south of Jamaica, then making it to the southwestern Caribbean by about, let's say, 1 a.m. on Thursday into Friday, with more of those greens that represent rainfall into sections of Nicaragua. And if we take a look, the GFS shows something similar, making it to the south of Jamaica by 1 a.m. on Thursday, then passing us and then making it into sections of Central America, just like what the Euro and the GFS ensembles were showing. However, as it relates to the rainfall forecast, we see that Jamaica is not going to be getting in on much rainfall at all. Jamaica is right here. Majority of the rainfall is towards south, as represented by those blues and even some purples that represent up to 1 inch or even up to 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. Majority of that should be out to sea. As it relates to the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that area of low pressure is still attached to a trough that's responsible for all of the cloud cover that we still see to the south of the Dominican Republic, to the south of Puerto Rico. A lot of thunderstorm activity right here. Some persons might be saying, but what's that weather, Jamaica, you're focusing on here? This is the trough that has been affecting the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, with lots of showers and thunderstorms recently, bringing about lots of flooding. It was this same system that was affecting Jamaica over the weekend, late Friday, Thursday. And now it has moved off to the east, and now it has induced an area of low pressure to the southwest of it, trying to formulate, but it's going to be moving towards the west into sections of Central America. And we can also see on the surface map that we have a cold front that stretches all the way down from Bermuda into the area right here across the Greater Antilles, Jamaica, Hispaniola, and it's definitely going to be bringing some slightly cool temperatures to Jamaica on Tuesday. As relates to the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front that stretches all the way down into portions of the Hispaniola. Don't see much in the way of cloud cover or rainfall across Jamaica area associated with this cold front. However, as it relates to the area of low pressure, we can see it right there. If we even take an even closer look, we can see the area of spin. Wish we could see it even better, but the sunlight is up. But I definitely saw. So I don't think it can zoom in at all. I saw an area of spin right here, somewhere right here to the northern portion of Colombia. Then we had that thunderstorm burst around that area of low pressure. So there's definitely something spinning down there. Convection is trying to take shape. It's going to be very interesting next 24 hours or the next 24 to 48 hours as the system tries to fight off all of the dry air that's across the Caribbean. Alright, so let us take a look at how it's predicted in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. It was stated that we would have received some amount of rainfall across sections of some northern and eastern parishes, well, in the northeast of the island actually, on Monday afternoon. So we're talking about sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, and we already incorporated the east, and Portland is in the east. And what ended up happening? We actually got that northeasterly flow of low-level winds and clouds across the island. So we definitely saw some amount of cloud cover as well as some isolated showers in some spots across sections of Portland, St. Mary, spilling into sections of St. Anne. And we even had some of that air piling up into sections of Manchester and Clarendon during the afternoon hours, maybe bringing in some amount of overcast skies and isolated showers. And we can see it even better on the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, especially sections of Manchester and Clarendon gotten on some of that cloud cover and some isolated showers. Don't see much happening on the infrared satellite images. No form of thunderstorm activity, no deep convection, no cumulonimbus clouds whatsoever. Not to mention the Cuban Doppler images. You can see some slight greens that represent some maybe isolated showers to the south of Manchester and Clarendon right there. As relates to the See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we know that we have a partnership with this channel, and they actually show live streams of sections of Jamaica. So sections of Halfway Tree, Crossroads, the view from up in the hills of Kingston looking down, and the harbor right there in Kingston. And we can see that for the most part it was definitely a sunny day across the island. This is about 9:52 a.m. and even if we skip ahead to about the afternoon hours, we'll see that it was much of the same. So this is about 5 p.m. much of the same, a very sunny day across the island. As relates to the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by 3 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS, or the 18Z, well, the 18Z run of the GFS actually, is showing the temperature forecast for tomorrow. And we see Jamaica embedded in some clear colors as well as some blue colors that represent average to slightly below average temperatures. So that looks like at least up to 1 degree Celsius below normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November are about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And when we calculate that on the thermometer, that's about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 29 to 30 degrees Celsius for tomorrow's temperatures across Jamaica. So average temperatures are slightly below normal temperatures, all courtesy of this cold front, and we're indeed grateful for that. Unfortunately, it only seems like tomorrow is going to be the only day that we're getting on some cool temperatures from this cold front. Doesn't seem like we're going to be getting in on any more cool weather after that, maybe more in the way of some warm temperatures. Alright, so let us take a look at what's currently happening regarding the dry air. You can still see all of that dry air represented by the yellows, oranges and reds, and we can see that across sections of the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean, sections of the southwestern Atlantic to the north of Cuba and the Bahamas. You can also see that dry air across sections of the main development region, with most in the way of moist air across the east central Caribbean right there, which explains the trough and that area of low pressure. It relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. We do see that majority of that Saharan dust that was across the eastern Caribbean is starting to dwindle. We don't have much in the way of Saharan dust, especially across Jamaica for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. As relates to the temperatures across the waters of the Western Hemisphere, the Eastern Pacific, the Caribbean and the Atlantic, still above normal temperatures, and they're not only normal at the surface but definitely as we go deeper in the water. We can see the warm ocean heat content right here, which represent the water's warmth the deeper we go into the ocean. So definitely sections of the waters around Jamaica, that's where we have the warmest, deepest waters. And we can see that invest area right there to the south of Hispaniola, and it's definitely going to be pushing westward, maybe taking advantage of some of that warm water. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. There is little to no wind shear across that region right now, as we can see by all of the whites. The strongest wind shear is represented by those blues, greens, yellows, oranges and reds, and we don't have a lot of wind shear at all, and we have a lot of sea surface temperature warmth. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. The models aren't really impressed with this system. The model actually thinks that all of the dry air is going to be fighting off the system, but we can see for ourselves that even the Hurricane Center was shocked into seeing that it was, firing up with convection today. Then as usual, that convection died out. But look at what is happening right now regarding this system, and we're still in hurricane season. It's definitely worth the watch. I'm reloading these pages right now, and it's very baffling to see so much deep convection firing up around this area of low pressure. And the thing about these small areas of low pressure is that they can quickly develop and they can quickly die down. That's the thing about them. And the thing is, it doesn't have much wind shear against it. It's just the very dry air that is sucking in from the north and the west. So tomorrow is gonna be very interesting in terms of the system. Who knows, maybe the Hurricane Center might change this code yellow to a code orange, or maybe it might just dissipate altogether, go down to a 0, and then they take it off the map. That's why we have to stay updated to see exactly what unfolds. Alright, so let us take a look at the wave forecast for Jamaica. We can see that Jamaica is still surrounded by some blues that represent 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, as we can see by the key on the bottom right, and we can see the lighter shades of blues right there to the south and the west of the island, and we see the strongest or the highest wave heights to the north and east. That's because the winds are still coming in from the northeast across the island, least amount of winds across the south and the west, which explains why today was so warm, especially on the south coast. All of that air is piling up and heading into inland areas. Then by the time it gets to the south coast, majority of those winds have died down. So all we're getting in Kingston, St. Catherine, sections of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland are the heat. Lots of heat. Well, they're getting all the cool air on the north coast. Either way, all of what's coming with this northeasterly flow of low-level winds is some clouds off the sea, something similar to what we saw today. Somewhere we have some isolated showers across sections of some northeastern parishes in Jamaica. So definitely sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland still going to be getting some more rainfall. Look at this, both the Euro and the GFS models are showing some blues across sections of northern parishes, and this is valid for 7 a.m. Skipping ahead to about 2 p.m, we still see much of the same across those very spots. Portland, St. Mary, maybe even spilling into sections of St. Thomas. And both the Euro and the GFS accumulated precipitation forecasts are showing some slight greens across those very spots that represent up to 0. At least 1/6 of an inch of rainfall on the GFS. Euro up to 0.1 inch of an inch of rainfall across the same spot. So definitely some isolated showers, nothing tremendous. Rest of the island definitely gonna be dry. But we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we head into our drier months from December to April. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that we don't have much happening across the basin at all. Most of the activities right there across section of Trinidad and Tobago, the water to the south of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, as well as Puerto Rico. Maybe some activity across sections of Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia as usual, as well as sections of southern Venezuela. As relates to what's happening across the northeastern Caribbean, Doppler radar images, you can see not much happening. There's some stray leftover showers from that trough across the waters around the US and British Virgin Islands to the southeast of Puerto Rico as well. As relates to the rainfall right now across the Barbados radar, you can see some isolated showers heading into sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as we speak. Sections of northern Grenada might get in on some of that. Not much happening across Trinidad and Tobago at all. As it relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see all of that rainfall to the north of the ABC Islands. Maybe some more rainfall in store for them tonight into tomorrow. And we can also see some rainfall across sections of Guyana, central Guyana that is as well. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow across the Caribbean, just average, just slightly above normal temperatures as represented by those yellows across majority of the Caribbean. As it relates to the siren dust, majority of the siren dust has dwindled, so nothing to worry about for 2 p.m. on Tuesday across the entire Caribbean. As it relates to the wave forecast, majority of the Caribbean should be getting in on anywhere from 0.54 meter to at least 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are not going to be that strong, averaging anywhere from 5 to at least 20 knots, coming in from the east across the eastern Caribbean, coming in from the northeast across the greater Antilles. As it relates to the rainfall totals, we can see that majority of the Caribbean won't be getting in on much at all. We don't see much across the Bahamas. There's some isolated showers across eastern Cuba, maybe some stray isolated showers across sections of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. We can see an increase in rainfall still across sections of Puerto Rico, sections of the US and British Virgin Islands. Not much across Antigua and Barbuda, but maybe St. Kitts and St. Martin. Sections of Guadeloupe southward are still dry, so Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, sections of St. Vincent and the Barbados. But look at that, we see the colors starting to come back into sections of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, even some isolated spots right there across sections of Suriname, Guyana, French Guyana. Not much across Venezuela, maybe southern Venezuela and western Venezuela, as well as sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, southern Nicaragua, sections of southern Belize, and northern Guatemala. A majority of Honduras, El Salvador, and the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico should be in the clear, as well as sections of the Cayman Islands and majority of Jamaica. I know that when both maps are showing something similar like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.